Do you feel that your data organization is slow? Here is the reason why. As data-driven businesses grow, they require socio-technical systems to manage their data infrastructure in the most efficient way, so that leveraging data can be faster than the multiple business channels that are open. Here is a little history. For analytical reporting, data warehouses were required. The concept was to extract, transform, and load data from multiple sources into one place. But as sources kept increasing, there were bottlenecks to the speed of bringing everything in the warehouse. And that is where data lakes were adopted, which meant that everything could be dumped in the raw form. That resulted in faster data ingestion. However, the concept between the two remained the same. They were both being catered by a central data infrastructure approach. If your company seems slow to respond to data requests, your data team might be relying on the same conceptual central approach. And here are two major problems that could arise, and this is something you might want to discuss with your tech leads. There is a massive disconnect between data producers and data consumers. Due to the central data team in the middle, there is lack of expertise of the data and unclear ownership. For example, if the business wants to track a metric which currently is not being produced by the business function, they need to request the data team, who then has to take it up with the business function producing that data, leading to lower transparency, a higher dependency on the central team, and back and forth of requirements. Second problem is that this central kind of approach does not scale well. With time, producers and consumers are increasing with time due to this huge influx of data-driven decision making. And in order to cater to the needs, the data team cannot just keep on hiring due to obvious hiring limitations. So either they will have to compromise on quality or speed, and that is a lose-lose situation. And now here comes data mesh, the messiah who can save us all. Here is a small conceptual view of the data mesh. So here we have our departments, for example 3, and they're somehow interconnected with each other, which means that one way or the other they need help. And with data meshes concept, each of these departments holding the data would have their own data engineers, data analysts, and data scientists, and all of them would come inside this big cloud which will be governed or managed by the data team. And when we say managed, that means that the central data team would be providing a platform for these roles that are in green colors, with tools which would help them with productivity and automation. Also, they would be responsible for devising data governing strategies and processes. First of all, data mesh is nothing but a mindset, and there are 4 key concepts that it wants us to follow. First is data as a product, not a service, which means it needs to get the attention like any other product, as it has a big influence on business decision making. Like any other product, it has a price and a customer base. And for data, the customer base are the managers and the business decision makers, and they are the ones that need to be kept happy with this product. The second principle is that the data should be owned by the domain that is producing that data. Owning here means that the team that is producing the data should own the pipeline, the accuracy, and the quality of the data. And those are the POCs of that particular data, which essentially helps other team members not to waste time chasing the wrong POCs for that particular data. It also means that the business teams would have transparency on the requests that they made. Data producers are working with that data on a daily basis. Thus, they are the closest and experts of it compared to a central data team for obvious reasons. Third is data infrastructure. The central team can be lifted the burden of checking data quality and pipeline, and instead focus on the infrastructure that would help the respective domains who can use the tools to bring and distribute data better. Fourth is governance. So the central data team can maintain systems that would place security checks on an organizational level, so that all business domains producing the data can follow, which would ensure consistent, successful governance. Here's a brief example that happened to me, and this might help you understand the benefits of data mesh. I built a dashboard using multiple data sources with the goal of conducting team meetings with the KPIs that dashboard is able to track. Everything seemed to be working fine, but one day there was unusual drops in the data. Upon investigation, I found out there was something wrong with the data pipeline. So then I quickly reported to the central data team in order to fix that pipeline. Unfortunately, they had other tasks that were higher in priority. So it almost took a week for them to fix that data pipeline. Until that week, we were seeing wrong results on the dashboard, and that completely destroys the whole purpose of the dashboard. On the other hand, if we were following a data mesh framework, then I or someone in my team would have been clear data owners of that pipeline. And as soon as there was something wrong in the pipeline, we would have been the most worried and would have prompted for immediate action so that the dashboard could display the results accurately. If all these reasons do convince you towards data mesh, let me warn you, this change does not come overnight. Because it's a mindset, it needs to start small. And if you want to make that change, start with the smallest department in your company and see the efficiency it brings in.